Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel here once again, and this is going to be another wrestling match review. So, last time we looked at Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero. Oh, if you haven't already, go check out that review at SummerSlam 2005. And that was a pretty good match, despite the weird stipulation. But it wasn't the main event. No. The main event was much more special, and I'd argue even much more enjoyable, for all the wrong reasons. I'm talking about Shawn Michaels versus Hulk Hogan in Legend versus Legend in the main event of SummerSlam 2005. So, as always, I'm not professional wrestling reviewer, analyst, or anything like that. I should say. Just a man who enjoys a good time, and I definitely had a good time with this match. Again, for all the wrong reasons. Not the reasons that the match was supposed to be enjoyed for, and you're gonna find out why. So, those of you who've seen these reviews before, you kind of already know how this works. So you haven't gonna be talking about what I liked and what I disliked about the match. But also, really quick before we get into it, because I won't have another opportunity to do so, because there's something else. So I pick up my mouse that I dropped here. Because there's something else that I want to do for tomorrow's episode of System Shock Radio. Instead, I will be posting my official predictions for SummerSlam this year, or at the end after we do the review proper. But with that being said, let's get right back into it. So normally, this is the part where I talk about what I liked and what I disliked about the match, but in a strange twist, it's what I liked and what I disliked about the match, and ultimately the best and worst aspects of this match are essentially one and the same. Because as this match is known above everything else for being the match where Shawn Michaels oversold, I should say, and flopped around like a goof anytime Hogan did anything to him. But that wasn't without a reason. And so, even if you haven't seen this match in its entirety, even if you've never heard this match, you've probably at least seen it at some point when they do the wrestling oversells. But again, there was a reason Shawn Michaels did what he did. And pretty much turned this match almost into a parody of itself. Now, there were some like normal moves and stuff like that, but at different points in the match. But otherwise, the match is like all like the normal moves and stuff are overshadowed, and even somewhat of the story is overshadowed by Shawn Michaels overselling and stuff like that. So, the story going into this, I'm gonna give you both the kayfabe story and the real life story, because both are essential to this match. So, at this point, Shawn Michaels had turned heel. He turned on Hulk Hogan and challenged him to a match at SummerSlam. And Shawn Michaels was doing some phenomenal heel work at this time, including when he parodied Hulk Hogan on Larry King, and that infamous promo he cut in Montreal. Who's your daddy, Montreal? Like, phenomenal stuff. Go check out some of the stuff Shawn Michaels was doing around this time. But he challenged Hogan to a match here at SummerSlam, and that's the kayfabe part. Now for the real life stuff. So originally, between these two, it was supposed to be a best of three. Shawn Michaels would get the win at SummerSlam, and then Hogan would get the win back at, I believe, Unforgiven that year, and then they'd have the tiebreaker later on down the line. I'm guessing probably at WrestleMania or something like that. So it's supposed to be a best of three between these two men, but then it got bumped down to a best of two, and then that got bumped down to just this one match with Hogan going over. I wonder who made that call. So it got bumped down to the one match, and Hogan gave a litany of excuses as to why he only wanted the one match and wanted to go over this match. So Shawn decided to let his inner diva out one last time and decided to just ruin the match, actually make it comical, by overselling everything Hogan was doing. And Anytime he got like a light show, he would just flop around all over the place. When Hogan was kicking him while on the top turnbuckle, Shawn Michaels was like, go up and all that stuff. And even at the end, when Hogan hits the big boot before the leg drop, Shawn Michaels gets up and then flops around before falling back down. And you can even see early in the match when Shawn starts doing what he did, if you pay attention to Hogan's reaction, you can see the exact moment where he realizes what Shawn's doing and how pissed he looks when he realizes exactly what Shawn's doing. And then things just go from there. I imagine at that point Hogan just had to go with it. But yeah, so you can see the exact moment where Hogan realized what Shawn's doing, and he gets pretty upset about it. And then after the match, Shawn immediately turns face again when he mouths the words, I had to find out, and I got my answer. They shake hands, and then Shawn Michaels is face again, meaning that whole heel turn was for nothing. So now I'm going to talk about both sides when it comes to this, because there are kind of two sides. On one hand, this is unprofessional. This is super unprofessional. This is unprofessional as hell on the part of Shawn Michaels. It's funny, but yeah, this is like pretty unprofessional. Shawn, the circumstances and Shawn reacting the way he did, it probably pretty much like ruining the match. It definitely is pretty unprofessional on the part of Shawn. I imagine most people probably would have just went with it. However, at the same time, Hogan definitely had it coming. Hogan, giving his litany of excuses as to why he didn't want to do the the three match, I should say. He said, his body can't handle the three matches, and him going over, he said, oh, the face has to go over. Really? That didn't seem to stop you when you were part of the NWO. Oh, but Hogan and all his excuses and his backstage politics, which I'm sure you've heard probably a lot when it comes to Hulk Hogan. In fact, apparently that's one of the major talking points, and rightfully so, of the Dark Side of the Ring episode on Bash at the Beach 2000. And, that's quite a debacle. Now, I haven't seen that episode yet, but I do know what happened with Bash at the Beach, and it's definitely interesting. So if you're interested, go give that episode a watch. But yeah, so Hogan pretty much flexing his creative muscles, his creative control here to pretty much tamper with the best of three and getting it down to the best of one. And Hogan, and it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible that Hogan, and not in a good way, but it's absolutely incredible how Hogan was able to politic his way through here. For years, Hogan, known for being a backstage politician, getting The Undertaker in trouble after, I think it was Survivor Series 91, where Hogan and Undertaker fought for the WWE Championship, and Hogan said Undertaker dropped him on his neck, even though when you looked at the tombstone that supposedly Hogan was dropped on his neck/head. Undertaker was nowhere near, Hogan's head was pretty much nowhere near the mat. If anything, Undertaker's knees probably got hurt more than Hogan's head/neck. So there's that, and then all the stuff of all the BS he pulled while in WCW. Then there was the WrestleMania 9 debacle with him pretty much electing to win the WWF Championship from Yokozuna right after Yokozuna beat Bret Hart, or all that stuff. Pretty much following Hogan and for a while now. And he rears his ugly head once he's back in WWE here. It's incredible how he was able to get away with it. Essentially, the fact that no one put their foot down, Vince didn't put his foot down, and Hogan was pretty much allowed to politic his way through this match. Now, what I'm not going to do is sit here and pretend like Shawn Michaels wasn't a politician as well, because he was. But I think by this point, at least from what I know, let me know if I'm incorrect about this, but at this point, Shawn's politic days were pretty much behind him, especially now that he was born again, not really drinking or anything like that anymore. But yeah, so Hogan essentially politicking his way, and he paid for it. He paid for it in a big way, because what was supposed to be this excellent, amazing like dream match, and which on paper this definitely would be a dream match, and it definitely worthy of a big fight feel. Honestly, this is like a WrestleMania caliber match as well. But two legends, two icons in Hulk Hogan and Shawn Michaels was like two of probably the most recognizable guys in like pro wrestling. Like if you were to find random people on the street and ask them like who's your favorite pro wrestler, who's your who you think is the most iconic, who you think is the best like wrestler, 9 times out of 10 they'll probably say either Hogan or Shawn Michaels. If it's not one of those two, it's probably Steve Austin. But yeah, two like the most iconic. So this should have been like a dream match, like a dream match caliber or feel. It definitely had like the dream match caliber feel to it. And it definitely was a dream match caliber match, which pretty much ruined and when it came to backstage politics. Unfortunately, it is what it is. Now, would it have been better if the best of 3 had gone as planned? Who's to really say? But yeah, so there's the match. And if you didn't know before why Shawn was flipping around like he did in the match, now you know. But nevertheless, that's going to do it for that part of the review. But we're not quite done yet, because I'm going to give my official predictions for SummerSlam this year. Like I said, I want to do something else instead for tomorrow's episode of System Shock Radio, and it is a special one. But I'm going to get my predictions out of the way now. A couple concerns, though, for starters. There's no United States Championship match, which sucks. Austin Theory and Santos Escobar are instead going to battle on SmackDown instead. Yay. And also no Trish Becky Lynch, and that's instead going to take place in Winnipeg, I think, in a couple weeks. Unfortunately, the excuse that's given is that there's time constraints when it came to the card, which on one hand is pretty lame, but on the other hand, this is an 8-match card, or they have a battle royal, and you already know that Roman Reigns match is probably going to last a while. So I kind of get it, but at the same time, it does suck we're not getting that match at SummerSlam. But and also, the other thing to keep in mind as I'm reading these off and then giving my predictions is that this is just the order they have it on the wiki. But this might not be the official order they go with for the show itself. In fact, I know it's not, because one of these matches is going to take place first, and I'll explain why that is. But also, they may or may not add match to the card. It's kind of too late to add match to the card because SummerSlam is literally tomorrow, and that hasn't stopped WWE before. But so starting off with Cody Rhodes battling Brock Lesnar, no stipulation. And apparently, a stipulation was never planned for this match. So the rumor of it being a stipulation match, I guess, was untrue. There is a match with a stipulation, but it's not this one. Although, really, considering this is the tiebreaker and considering who's involved, maybe a stipulation probably could have worked out. But anyway, so Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar, probably. I imagine they're going to give this one to Cody just to finally put Brock Lesnar behind him and to potentially set him up for that World Championship, feud he's going to have later on down the line. So I'm going to go with Cody Rhodes there. Then next up is for the World Heavyweight Championship, as Seth Rollins will be battling Finn Balor. So, the thing is, there's a few different ways this match could end, and there's a few different factors to take into consideration. First of all, this is the first time since 2016 that Seth Rollins will be battling Finn Balor one-on-one at SummerSlam, which is a nice little bit of trivia there. But also the thing is Damian Priest with the Money in the Bank. It's been people may or may not be expecting him to play into the match and potentially cash in, and we'll see if that happens. But in the meantime, for now, I'm just gonna say without the possibility of cash in, this one might go to Seth Rollins and I don't know if they're gonna take the world championship off of him just yet, the world heavyweight championship, but. Yeah, I think this one's going to go to Seth Rollins. It does kind of suck, though, because this is essentially a rematch from Money in the Bank, which was, like, just last month. But nevertheless, yeah, I think Seth Rollins is going to take the win there. Then next up, we have a triple threat match for the WWE Women's Championship, as Asuka will defend against both Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair. Considering how long she held it for, I don't think Bianca's winning it back, at least not yet. So it's probably going to be between Asuka and Charlotte Flair, although I'm leaning a bit more towards Asuka. Or it could be Charlotte Flair, just so she can get closer to breaking her dad's record. In fact, I think she's pretty close, if I'm not mistaken. I think she's almost at, because technically, fun fact, technically the women's championship count as world championships towards the women. So, Raw Women's Championship 6 times, and then so about 13 for main roster titles, 15 if you count the NXT Women's Championship, and 16 if you count the Divas Championship. So Charlotte is pretty close. She's essentially on if they're counting all of those, she's essentially on like the doorstep. But I don't know if Charlotte's gonna win here, so I'm gonna go with Asuka. Then next up is Tribal Combat for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, and for recognition of the Tribal Chief, as the current Tribal Chief Roman Reigns will battle against Main Event Jey Uso. So, if I'm not mistaken, the rules of Tribal Combat is that no blood family members are allowed to interfere in the match. And if I'm not mistaken, it's also anything goes, which is kind of a contradiction because it's no rules, but it's a rule. And it hasn't stopped WWE before. But I think, and I talked about this before, or when I did my Should Jey Uso dethrone Roman Reigns discussion. If you haven't already, go check that video out. That if the plan is for Roman to battle Cody at WrestleMania, and of course plans could change, but if the plan is for Roman versus Cody, then that means that if Jey wins here, then he'll just drop it back to Roman, and I really don't want that. Jey deserves much better than that, so I think if that is the plan, then you might as well just have Roman retain, so I'm going to predict Roman here. Then next up is Ricochet versus Logan Paul. Now, it was actually confirmed that this match is going to take place first because Jake Paul is having a boxing match later on tonight. Not tonight, but tomorrow night, I should say. Later on that night, I should say. Jake Paul is battling Nate Diaz, if I'm not mistaken. So Logan wants to be there for that. So this match is going to go on first. This one might go either way. I am leaning towards Ricochet just with the heel he gets comeuppance, but at the same time, Logan has been on kind of a losing streak, and I imagine they probably don't want him to lose too many matches. But also on the Go Home Raw a couple days ago, he pretty much taunted Ricochet, saying Samantha Irvin would declare Logan Paul the winner, which normally means that probably won't happen. But this one could go either way. I think I'm leaning a bit towards Ricochet here. Now, next up is going to be an interesting one, and that is Gunther defending the WWE Intercontinental Championship against Drew McIntyre. For starters, I can already tell this is going to be match of the night. If it's not the main event, this one's going to be match of the night. I am definitely looking forward to this. Big, meaty men slapping meat, and yes, Gunther, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre always put good matches on against each other, and this one I can tell is going to be no different. But the reason I say this is interesting is because WWE is almost kind of in a corner here, because on one hand, Gunther is close to breaking the Honky Tonk Man's record, and judging by how he's been booked up to this point, Gunther's essentially the guy to do it. But on the other hand, Drew McIntyre just returned and having a lot of this momentum. So, how are they going to get out of this one? How are they going to get out of this jam? and I don't know if I said it on the channel. I might have just said it to myself, but I think how they're going to do it is probably have Matt Riddle turn on Drew McIntyre, or even though apparently they don't want to push Matt Riddle anymore because of like all like the trouble he's been getting into and stuff like that. But yeah, so this one could go either way. Although I'm leaning a bit more towards Drew McIntyre. Not Drew McIntyre, Gunther retaining here. I imagine they'll probably find a way to like have their cake and eat it too, to where Gunther gets the win, but Drew McIntyre still looks strong in defeats. But please, no double count out shenanigans. Both men deserve better than that. And no disqualification shenanigans either. Both men deserve better than that. But next up is the MMA rules match as Ronda Rousey will be battling Shayna Baszler. So this stems from Money in the Bank when Shayna turned on Ronda, and with Ronda potentially on her way, the company I imagine this one will probably go to Shayna Baszler. Although I wonder how they're gonna do it. I imagine and probably have the setup be like UFC, where they have probably like if not the octagon, then like a cage-like structure, and then Rousey and Baszler battle with like MMA rules or like the UFC rules such as like the rounds and submission stuff like that. And it's probably similar to like the fight pit that they did in NXT and at Extreme Rules last year, but we will see. So, but I think this one's probably going to go to Shayna Baszler, or they might give Ronda Rousey riding off into the sunset, as she may or may not be on her way out. And then finally, the Slim Jim SummerSlam Battle Royal. It's a 20-man Battle Royal, and the first two entrants in it are going to be Sheamus and LA Knight. And this match is pretty much so LA Knight can get the win, and so fans will stop complaining about LA Knight not getting the push he deserves. So this is probably like the consolation prize is with of him getting the win and getting a spot on SummerSlam. And we'll probably see like the other herd of competitors, but yeah, LA Knight I think is pretty much gonna win. Like if LA Knight still doesn't win here, then I don't know anymore. But yeah, so that is going to do it for both this review and my predictions. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video so you can see as soon as it drops. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on the review and my predictions. Did you like, dislike the match? Did you like, dislike my review of the match? Let me know. And what are your predictions for SummerSlam this year? But thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace.